lizard at the top. I mean, that's not an owl, that's a harrier. Oh, sorry, yeah, short-eared owl. And the deer. Ibrahim, you should have seen the beautiful deers we seen when we were driving in.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
But I looked back, but all I saw was the big horns and the brown skin. Oh, plane! It looks like
It looks like a wee ant flying in the sky. So now we're going on the bus ride. He's closing the doors. The beastie on the bus goes. Good timing because it's raining now.
Hi guys.
Hiya. Sorry,
Who's this you've got? Is this Buddy?
It's our best friend.
Oh wow. Best friends go everywhere,
Yeah.
don't they? Yes. So you got a bus tour?
I know I'm a wee bit early, but
You're alright, because I think it's going to be quite full, so.
is it? I'm my best to just jump in.
Aye.
Do you need to see my wee ticket?
Three of you, aye?
Yes. Should we just go in before we get soaked? That'd be good fun.
Yeah.
She's the one which wants to chat with you, I think. She's made a wee pal,
So
ain't you?
what's this you've got? Wait, is it a he or a she? Or is it a they? Have they got a name?
But what's baby's name? Why don't you tell Bunny Rabbit's name? Baby?
Is it just baby? There's nothing wrong with that. That's
So imaginative.
brilliant. Would you take baby to bed with you?
This is
Everywhere?
this is the extent of the conversation even I have with her, so
Ah, don't worry, I've got a
Aye.
wee granddaughter just like you. Then,
Naughty.
gotta get me shut up.
aye. Hey, shall we jump in now, huh, guys?
Yeah.
Should we pick a very good seat?
Yeah.
Come on then, babies. Before we get soaked.
Did you get the funsies?
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh no, this is a guide one.
Yeah, that's good. Listen guys, see if you're right up the back, it's going to be busy, so I don't know if you don't want to be beside other people.
Okay.
There's 20 a limit, but the kids can see better out the higher windows.
The back,
These windows are very low.
No, you're right, you're right. My daughter's a wee one. Right, let's get a good seat at the back. That was very kind of you. Should we sit here like the cool people do, right at the back? Yeah, do you want to sit right here at the window? Yeah, but do you want to sit there at the window, maybe? Oh no, there's a pillow there. Come on in, this way, over here.
I might just sit next to her. Yeah, you can sit next to me. Wow. That's good. I'll put you there one.
Alexis, don't you wheels on the bus?
Put my belt on.
Literally we timed that so well because it's starting to rain now.
Oh, does that stop thing?
There's a little charge point there as well.
That's good.
This is like one of those energy renewable, like future buses, I think.
Yeah. What's
Oh, Scottish power.
Cheer.
We're just on the bus and we're just waiting for all the passengers to come and then we're going to go. Can you see me? So you can see the view here already, it's just so pretty, so hopefully we're going to get to see more.
You sure do. So, great to see some well-known faces back again. So, I didn't think Windfarms were so interesting. Absolutely fantastic. So we're going to head out here. We're going to hear a wee bit about how the electricity gets from the wind straight to our homes. And after the tour is over, if there's any questions whatsoever that you don't think I've covered on the tour, please don't leave without asking. And don't think, well, that's a silly question, I better not ask you that. There's no such a thing as a silly question. So you feel free to ask. Now, on your way in today, you may well have noticed on the left hand side there, one of the blades up here at Whitelee. Now, believe it or not, that is one of the smallest blades up at Whitelee. It's 40 metres in length and it weighs 12 tonnes in weight. So, usually ask the kids, now, lots of school kids up north, what do you think it's made from? The most popular answers, iron, metal or steel. But it's made from none of those. It's actually made from wood, very, very strong wood, but very, very soft balsa wood. When I was a wee boy many years ago, we used to fly the aeroplanes, build the aeroplanes, and fly aeroplanes made of balsa wood. So it's very, very soft, but very, very strong, with a coating of fiberglass to make it watertight. So the blades are made from balsa wood with a coat of fiberglass. So if you guys just bear with us for a wee second, I shall go and open and close this gate. Folks, it was way back in 1996 that it was decided that a wind farm up here at Whitelee would be a great idea. However, it took them 10 years of planning and to get through planning permission. Mainly because we're over 3 different council areas, both East Renfrewshire, East Ayrshire and South Lanarkshire. Now, 10 years later, in 2006, the first phase of the wind farm was started. That consisted of 140 Siemens turbines. Those are the ones we see around about us just now, and they stand 110 metres tall with a capacity of 2.3 megawatts of electricity at full capacity. Now, 3 years later, that's all the time it took them to install the first 140. 3 years later, they started the second phase of the wind farm in 2009. It took them 4 years to complete, and that was only another 75 Holston wind turbines that they installed, mainly because they had to take some trees down over at the forest. So the majority over at the forest are 140 metres tall. So obviously if they put the smaller turbines over at the forest, once the trees would start to grow, they would end up giving the trees a wee haircut and they would end up like me, no hair at all. So that's why the taller ones over at the forest. So all in all up here at Whitelee, we have got 215 wind turbines producing 539 megawatts of electricity at full capacity. Now we are the largest onshore wind farm in the United Kingdom, and right up until very recently we were the largest in Europe. However, Romania, a country over Eastern Europe, I say they were cheating because they joined 2 wind farms together, the Fontenelle and the Kajiliak wind farm. So they are now the largest onshore wind farm in Europe. They produce just under 600 megawatts of electricity and they've got 25 turbines more than us. But hey ho, we're still the largest in the United Kingdom. So as you guys have probably gathered with a short time up here at Whitelee, it's not just a wind farm. People come up here for walks, walking dogs, riding bikes, riding horses, you name it. Even a Tuesday morning, you get parents up here pushing their children in their buggies for their Tuesday morning exercise with the strollers group. So they come up here for their Tuesday morning exercise and they spend the rest of the morning sitting in the cafe, drinking coffee, eating cake. That's more my kind of exercise. Then on the right hand side we can see there's picnic shelters. They're all pointing in different directions. And the reason for that is, as you can well imagine, 9 times out of 10 you come up here to Whitelee, it's blowing a bullet or pouring, or more than likely both. So if you've got a wee picnic, there's always a shelter for you to go into without getting blown away. Also on the right hand side there are 3 mountain bike trails. There's an easy one, an intermediate one and a more difficult one. And those mountain bike trails were actually designed by the same people who designed the 2014 Commonwealth Games mountain bike trails in Glasgow. And straight ahead up to the left, this takes us up to the city of Glasgow, Scotland's largest city. Population of 500,000 people, Edinburgh, capital, just under 500,000. There's a wee bit of history up here at Whitelee as well. Straight ahead of the bus just now, right behind the turbine we can see Dunwan Hill. And they discovered an ancient fort on Dunwan Hill dating away back to the Iron Age. So all the land that we are on just now does not belong to Scottish Power Renewables, who own the Windfarm. It actually belongs to the Water Authority, the Forestry Commission and some private landowners. Now the SPR, they've got a lease on the land for 25 years. Now, some people have already said to me, "Oh Stuart, what's going to happen after 25 years?" Well, the answer's always the same, absolutely nothing, as long as planning permission is extended. Because the Windfarm is actually built on a peat blanket, like 23% of Scotland. Nearly a quarter of Scotland is on a peat blanket, so nothing much we can do with the land up here. Years back it was overgrazed by sheep, and it was also used for commercial grouse shooting. So not a great demand for that nowadays, so 25 years on, these landowners will just keep their hands out and saying thank you very much, because they're getting money for the use of their land that they can't really do anything with. Plus Scottish Power Renewables are using their land for the wind farm. So it's a win-win situation for all parties concerned. Just away over to the left there we can see Loch Groyne, just one of over 30,000 lochs and lochans in Scotland. And behind that we've got the forest, that's where the taller turbines are. Just looking at them from here, they look exactly the same. However, on closer inspection there are quite a few differences. Notice those turbines here, the series turbines, they actually get narrower at the top. That means any time the engineers come to service or maintain the turbines, which is every 5,000 hours or every 208 days, whichever comes first, once they go in the front door, they have then got to climb 160 steps to the very top before they even start work. However, over in the forest, they all still wind turbines. Once they get through the front door there, they can then step onto a 2-man lift and get taken straight to the top. So I think if I was an engineer and wanted to work with ones in the forest all the time, I'm just being lazy. I want to climb those steps. So the turbines are all numbered, obviously number 1 up to 215. Those numbers are there so the engineers know which turbine they're going to service and for maintain. And the numbers are also there as well for the public. Remember earlier I was saying people go up here on their bikes and out for long walks, so you just imagine this area of over 30 square miles of someone come up here on their bikes, kept heading out here, up and down, over a few hills. It's so easy to get lost or disorientated, so we always recommend people take a map with them when they come out here. And if you do get lost or disorientated, all you do is find your nearest turbine, which is never too far away, then you can work your way back to the visitor centre. So the first time we've had a call at reception asking, do you do a rescue service? The answer's no, we don't. So what we're going to do, guys, we're going to stop up here, turbine number 42. Then we'll go down and get up pretty close to one of the turbines. We'll find out a wee bit about how the electricity gets from the wind straight to our homes. And if any of you guys want to hug a turbine, feel free. People love hugging turbines. And if you do hug it, put your ear next to it, and you can actually hear and feel the electricity being created coming from the turbine, the top of the turbine down
Abby, do you want to hug it? Careful, careful guys. Careful, Ibrahim, careful. Abby. Oh, oh. Abby, hug it. Hug it. No, she's not going to do it. Careful guys, this is the best way to come up here. With her. Oh my god, over here. It's so loud. Yeah, you'll be telling you.
Well, boys and girls, you are very, very brave. We get lots of schools up here, and it's not the first time I've said, oh, school, I'm not going in there, I'm scared. And the reason it won't fall off, the blades are held on with 50 of those bolts. You can do a workout with those if you really want to. So I've got 150 of those bolts that hold the 3 blades on. Round the bottom we saw there's rubber covers. Round the bottom there, that's 60 bolts that hold that on. Now, right at the very top, just pick any turbine, they're all the same, the ones round about here. From the base of the turbine, right up to the bit that looks like an aeroplane, it's called a nacelle. That is 65 metres. Now, right at the front of the nacelle, there's a pointed bit. Now, you guys know what that's called, don't you? Yeah. The whole thing does. It's on your face. Ice cream in a ball. So it's called a what? Nose cone. Simple. You guys are brilliant. You're as well down here. That nose cone will always point towards the wind. When the wind changes direction, the whole nacelle will turn round. So the nose cone is pointing towards the wind. So behind that we've got the blades. Behind the blades there's a gearbox. Same idea as a gearbox in a car. If you go up the gears, makes a car go faster. That makes a shaft into the generator 90 times faster. And that produces 690 volts of electricity. That's just a wind blowing off the side. So, nobody's shooting at us. So, 690 volts. Now, to get 690 volts of electricity, you need a wind speed of 29 miles per hour. Now, if it's less than 29 miles per hour, you get less than 690 volts because you can't get flooded as soon. So that electricity, 690 volts, comes down the tower into the big green box there. Every wind turbine up here's got one of the green boxes, a transformer. As the name suggests, it transforms 690 volts to 33,000 volts, which is easier to pass across site. Now that goes from there, over underground, over to Ardach Rig, where the substation is. There, it is then increased to this big bad boy here, 275,000 volts. That's the cable we see on the electricity pylons that the birds stand on. So that's the cable for that one. Then it goes from there to various substations, then to their houses. So in simple terms, that's how the electricity gets from the wind straight to our homes. There are 4 reasons a wind turbine will not operate. The first is if the wind speed is less than 6 miles per hour. That's a joke up here really, isn't it? More likely if it's above 56 miles per hour. If it's above 56 miles per hour, we'll switch them off. Now, 2 ways they can get switched off. They can check the forecast at the control centre, or more likely at the we said that the sail looks like an aeroplane, like the tail fin of the aeroplane. That's where the anemometer is and the weather vane, and that is tied in with an onboard computer. So they will switch off automatically and it will start back up automatically again on its way back again. So that's the second reason. Third reason is, as you can imagine, if the engineers are working on it, they're not going to operate. And the fourth reason, if they don't need the electricity, they're not going to operate, because the downside of renewable is we can't store it at the moment. Now we are in the final stages of completing a 50 megawatt battery, and That is, should be up and running just now, but because of COVID and things like that, things are getting held back. But once that's up and running, that is the way forward with renewable energy. Just means if Scotland were beating England 5-0 at football at half time, no, we can't dream. And everybody goes and puts the kettle on at half time. Throwing the electricity, so the National Grid are saying we need more electricity. So what would happen, we could, I was going to say we could sell the National Grid 50 megawatt electricity, and within 1 hour, as long as there's wind, that could be charged back up again. So it definitely is the way forward with renewable energy. The cable that it's used up here at Whitelee, we would be putting a big straight line. It would go from John O'Groats at the very north of Scotland to Land's End, the very southwest of England. 601 miles of cable that's used up here at Whitelee. So some amount of cable and some amount of cost as well, which we'll talk about on the way back. Has anyone got any questions?
Who scored the first goal when we were beating England 5-0?
I don't know, I was just getting into my second sleep at that
I mean, this is very like educational, isn't it? It's very nice and funny.
Back one again, boys and girls. Yeah. Now way over to the left there we can see there's a few buildings. Furthest away one, it's Windfarm. And the sandy coloured brick building in the middle is the Siemens and the Ulster Engineers Workshops. And the building nearest us is the control centre. Now it's not just the control centre for Whitelee Windfarm, that is the control centre for all the wind farms owned by Scottish Power Renewables in the UK and Ireland, which are well over 40 of them at the moment. Now that is manned 24/7. Every minute of every day of the year there is someone in that building. Now what they are looking out for, they are looking out for weather, as I talked about earlier, very bad weather. Those guys can override all the turbines. The worst of the lot is snow. You
so fast. Isn't it? This will be good in the summer, everything. What do you think? When it's roasting hot. There's loads, hundreds of wind turbines here, guys. It covers an area of miles and miles. And this is the closest we're getting to one. But you can get closer to it because it's far away. It is. Your country's going everywhere. Your country? Your country's going everywhere.
Oh, guys, look over there, it's giant.
You think like you're too closer, but I mean you're very far away from the bit that goes round.